Holy moly. My dear, you just blew up. There was no warning, no sign, no preparation. One moment, you're just another face in the crowd. The next, everything changes. Your name, it's everywhere. People can't stop asking, who is this guy? They don't want to know. They need to know. But here's the thing about need. It's not just curiosity, it's desperation. You've tapped into something they can't explain, something they can't understand, but they feel it, and they're gripped by it. The world is asking who you are, but it's not a polite request, it's a demand, and they won't rest until they have the answer. It's chaos, it's madness, but that's what happens when you show up. And not just show up, you explode into existence. You tear apart every expectation, every limitation, and every rule that was ever set for you. You're not just seen, you're felt. You leave a mark, you leave a scar in the minds of everyone who crosses your path. And they can't handle it. But here's the problem: the questions, the eyes that follow your every move. They're intrigued, yes, but also terrified. Terrified of what you represent. They've seen something. They've caught a glimpse of something they can't unsee. And in that moment, they're not asking, who is this guy? They're whispering, what is this? Because you're not supposed to be here. You weren't supposed to matter. You were supposed to be just another face in the crowd, just another cog in the machine. They never expected you to make a dent in their perfect little world, but you did. You cracked the system, and now you're the enigma they can't figure out. You're the storm they didn't see coming. See, they thought they knew how to control the game. They thought it was a game of predictability. They thought that if they followed the rules, if they stayed within the lines, they'd win. You show up, you work, you fit in. It's all a neat little puzzle that you just have to put together, right? But then, boom, you don't fit into their boxes. You didn't follow their rules. You flipped the script. And that terrifies them. And yet, they can't look away. They can't turn off the noise. The question burns inside them like a fire they can't put out. Who are you? What made you do it? What makes you different? And they search for the answer. They dissect your every word, every action, every move. But the more they search, the more they realize. They'll never figure you out. But the real question is, do you even know who you are anymore? Oh, don't get me wrong. The applause, the whispers, the endless questions, they'll make you feel like you're on top of the world. But look a little closer and you'll see something else. A crack, a tiny little fracture in your own identity. Because when you go from being nobody to being everybody's obsession, something shifts. You're no longer the person you once were. You're the person everyone else needs you to be. You lose a piece of yourself to the very thing that made you famous. And that, my friend, is where the chaos begins. It's easy to look at the flashing lights, the hype, and think that you've made it. But have you? Or have you simply been dragged into a whirlwind, carried away by a current you didn't see coming? Because when the questions start rolling in, when the world starts devouring you piece by piece, you'll wish you had known what you were really signing up for. But by then, it's too late. The world doesn't wait for answers. It doesn't wait for clarity. It doesn't wait for you to find yourself. It just takes, and it doesn't stop until it's had its fill. And here's the most twisted part. The moment you rise, you become the answer they're all searching for. They need you. They need to understand you, to dissect you, to break you down into something they can consume, because that's what they do. They feed off of you, your pain, your confusion, your victories. They turn your highs into lows and your lows into spectacles. They tear you apart piece by piece, and all you can do is stand there, watching it unfold. They need you more than you need them. Isn't that fascinating? But what happens when you stop giving them what they want? When you stop playing by their rules? When you finally look at them and say, "You're not getting another piece of me." That's when things get interesting. You're no longer the shiny object to be dissected. You become the thing that's feared, the thing that can't be controlled. Now that's a power move, but the real question is, can you survive it? You thought blowing up was the hardest part. The truth? It's surviving the aftermath, the collapse of who you were, the war between the mask you wear and the person you were trying to be. You can hide behind your success. You can play the part, say the right things, and wear the right smile. But deep inside, there's a voice that keeps asking, who are you really? When all of this is gone, what's left? And that voice will never stop. It will follow you. Because when you go from being nothing to being everything, it's easy to forget that you're still just one person, one human being, one flawed, imperfect soul trying to make sense of a world that doesn't pay any attention to you. But maybe that's the point, right? You were never meant to fit in. You weren't meant to be part of the system. You were meant to break it, to shatter it, to force everyone else to see the world through your eyes, to show them what happens when someone truly refuses to follow the rules. And yet, you're still wondering who you are, still questioning whether you'll make it through. But what if this is the moment? The moment where you stop asking who you are and start telling them who you'll become. The game's changing, and you, my friend, are about to change it forever. So, here you are. The spotlight's still on you. It's almost suffocating, isn't it? The constant pressure, the eyes that never blink, the whispers that never stop. The world's expectations are stacking higher, and all you can do is try to keep your balance. But here's the catch. The higher you go, the harder you fall. And it's not about avoiding the fall. It's about learning how to land when everything comes crashing down. Because let's be real, nothing lasts forever. Even the brightest stars burn out eventually. And once you've been on top, once you've felt the rush of everyone clamoring for a piece of you, you start to realize something. You've become addicted to it. The attention, the fame, the thrill of knowing that for a brief moment, you matter. But deep down, there's a gnawing emptiness, a question that keeps popping up, like a splinter under your skin. What happens when I'm not enough anymore? You've crossed the threshold, the point where you were once an unknown entity, blending into the background of life, to becoming an undeniable force. But now, the game's changed. And what you're really fighting is not the people trying to tear you down. No, you're fighting the emptiness inside yourself. Because deep down, you know this is a temporary high, and you're running out of ways to keep the illusion alive. At first, it was fun, right? The attention, the validation, the way you became the center of every conversation, the topic of every debate. You became the answer to everything they didn't know they needed. They sought you out, eager to see what you do next, hungry for your next move, your next idea, your next moment. And you played along. You fed the beast. You gave them what they wanted because it felt good. It felt necessary. But what if that's where you're mistaken? What if the truth is you don't need them at all? Because let's face it, they're not looking for you. They're looking for an image, a projection, a piece of themselves that they can see in you. But that's the trick, isn't it? The more they ask, the less they actually know. They'll never truly understand you. They'll never really see you. They'll only see what they want to see. And in the end, they'll only love you for what you've allowed them to love. They'll never love you for who you are. And that's the most dangerous thing of all. The deeper they get into your world, the more they chip away at your identity. The more they ask of you, the less you have to give. Because somewhere along the way, you've lost sight of who you were when all of this began. And the truth is, you never really knew who you were in the first place. This is the point of no return. Once you've crossed into the realm of endless attention, you've entered a world where nothing is as it seems. The praise, the validation, the fame, it's all fleeting. It's just another mask, another illusion. And the second you take it off, you'll find yourself standing in front of a shattered mirror, staring at a stranger who doesn't look anything like the person you thought you were. So, what do? You keep running, right? You keep playing the game because it's the only thing you know. You try to fill the void with more noise, more moments, more stuff that keeps you in the spotlight. But no matter how hard you try, you can't escape it. You can't outrun yourself. Because the real enemy isn't the people who admire you. It's the voice inside your head. The one that keeps asking, what's next? The one that tells you that if you stop for even a moment, the world will forget you. And that's the cruelest part of it all. The fear. The constant fear that you won't be enough. That you'll disappear the second you stop feeding the machine. The truth is, you've been living in a cage built by your own hands. The cage is shiny. It glitters. You've convinced yourself it's freedom. But deep down, you know it's not. Because as long as the world is watching, you'll never be able to break free from the pressure. The weight of their expectations. The constant need to prove that you're worthy. It's suffocating. It's exhausting. So here's a thought. What if you stop running? What if, instead of feeding their hunger for your identity, you reclaim it? What if you pull the curtain back and show them the person you've been hiding from them? What if you just stop being who they think you are and start becoming who you really are? I know. It sounds terrifying. The idea of stripping away the mask, the persona, the carefully crafted image of yourself. But it's the only way you'll ever be free. The only way to escape the constant need for approval is to stop caring about their opinions, to stop trying to prove anything to anyone, to let go of the illusion that being known means being valued. But here's the catch. You can't fake it. Not anymore. You can't just pretend to be someone else for the sake of an image, because people feel it. They'll see through the cracks. They'll realize that you're not being honest with them. Or worse, you're not being honest with yourself. So, what does that leave you with? What do you have left when the fame is gone, when the noise dies down, and when everyone else moves on to the next shiny object? You're left with nothing but yourself. That's the final test. isn't it? You've been living in a world built on other people's opinions, other people's validation. But when it all falls apart, when the curtains close, what will you find? Will you still have the strength to face yourself in the mirror? Or will you be a hollow shell of the person you once were? Here's the truth, my friend. The game never ends until you decide to step out of it. And that moment, that choice, will be the defining one. Do you continue down the path of pleasing everyone else? Or do you finally break free and carve out your own way? Do you remain a puppet to the applause? Or do you become the one pulling the strings? The choice is yours. But let me warn you, when you take control of your own narrative, when you stop asking for permission, the world will become an entirely different place. And not everyone will like it. Not everyone will be on board. But the ones who matter will see you, the real you. And that's when the true game begins. So now, you're standing at the crossroads. The noise, the chaos, the clamor of external expectations, it all feels distant, almost irrelevant. But don't be fooled. You've reached a point of transformation. There's no turning back. The real question now is not if you'll break free from the machine. It's about what happens once you do. Will you be able to navigate this new world without falling back into the familiar patterns? Because, let's face it, the pull of validation, the addiction to approval, is a hell of a thing. It's like a drug. The more you get, the more you want, the more you crave. But here's the catch. The high is short-lived. Every time you step back into the spotlight, the light fades faster. And soon enough, you're left chasing it again, always running, never satisfied. But there's a way out. There's a way to reclaim control. And it's not by running faster or by keeping up with the game. It's by stopping entirely. I know what you're thinking. Stop? That's absurd. You can't just stop in a world that's constantly moving. But here's the truth. The world will keep turning whether you choose to participate in the chaos or not. The illusion of control, the illusion of progress, is exactly that. An illusion. You can keep grinding, keep proving yourself, keep trying to stay on top. Or you can realize that the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop playing by their rules, is when you finally have the power to define your own life. This is where the magic happens. When you finally accept that you are the one in charge and not anyone else. Think about it for a second. The reason you're so tangled up in this web of external validation is that you've been taught to seek your worth outside of yourself. Society tells you that success is measured by followers, by likes, by views. But is that really success? Or is it just a mirror reflecting the emptiness inside you? Real success, the kind that lasts, isn't about how many people know your name. It's about knowing your own name, understanding your own worth without needing anyone else to validate it. It's about waking up in the morning with the confidence that your value is not dependent on the applause of others. It's about stepping into a room and owning it, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. When you stop playing their game, when you stop needing their approval, something incredible happens. You start to find freedom, true freedom. The freedom that comes when you realize that your worth has never been tied to the numbers on a screen or the opinions of strangers. But let's not sugarcoat this. The journey ahead won't be easy. This path isn't for the faint of heart. You will face doubts. You'll feel the temptation to to jump back into the chaos. The world will try to drag you back into the machine, to remind you of the glittering distractions you once craved. But here's the thing. You will not be the same person you were when you entered this journey. You'll have moments of fear, moments of uncertainty. You might even question if it's all worth it. But here's the kicker. Those moments of doubt, they're the most powerful part of the process. Because when you push through them, when you realize that you don't need to be validated by the external world, you'll be in control. You will be the master of your own narrative, not them, not the people who once demanded your attention, your energy, your every thought. It will be you, your desires, your passions, your true essence that defines the next chapter. It's not about letting go of the world entirely. It's about reclaiming your place within it. And the truth is, you'll attract the people who resonate with your authenticity. You'll connect with those who value your true self, not the curated version you've been showing them. And the best part? You won't even need to chase them. They'll come to you. Because when you stop pretending, when you stop playing the role, people are drawn to that honesty. They'll gravitate towards you, not because of what you can give them, but because of what you've become. Now, here's a secret. This isn't about rejecting everything you've built. It's not about throwing away the fame, the attention, the recognition you've earned. It's about recalibrating your relationship with them. It's about understanding that they don't define you. You define you. Imagine this, a life where you wake up each day, not with the desire to impress or prove yourself to anyone, but to simply live, to create, to be. And as you do, you realize that the right people, the ones who truly matter, are already there. They're the ones who see the real you, who appreciate the unfiltered version of yourself. And they're the ones who will lift you up. It won't be easy. You will still face challenges. You will still encounter moments of doubt. But the difference will be in how you approach them. You'll no longer be motivated by fear or the need for validation. You'll be driven by something much more powerful, your own inner truth. So, what's next for you? How will you face the world now that you've seen behind the curtain? How will you navigate this new path of authenticity now that you know the game is rigged? The first step is simple. You stop playing. You stop needing their approval. You stop craving their validation. And in that moment, you'll realize that you've already won. Because in the end, the real power isn't in being seen. It's in seeing yourself for who you truly are, and knowing that no matter who's watching, that's enough. You just blew up. And now, for the first time, you're free. The question is, how will you use that freedom?